Hey everyone, Dr. Lisa here, and we are continuing on our 28-day journey of conscious love. And I thought today, day 8, would be great for just discussing what the hell conscious love is and how that can be a practice for a yoga, really, a unification for your life. You know, a lot of people don't realize yoga is a practice for life. It's not an exercise workout. It's not a stretch thing. It's not even, a mental practice 100%. It is a lot of things. It's actually a science. Yoga is actually a holy science. And one of my purposes for this 28 days is to get you into yourself. And I named it Conscious Love because when you are in love with yourself, in your wholeness, then you tend to make better choices for yourself. You tend to value yourself in conversations, in situations, in relationships, and that can be a very healthy thing. What I want to talk today about is the concept of love in general, and then we're going to move in on day 9 for the next several days after that into mind love, into mindfulness love, and working with mental and the brain and things like that. So we're moving from the body and we're transitioning into the mind, into the brain. Two different things, okay? Because brain is body, but mind is consciousness. And so I want to bring in a little bit of what is love or what is emotion. You know, one of the things in being in the yogic sciences that's really, really cool is the idea of everything being an energy. And everything being an attribute, a different variation on that whole big universal energy, that whole big primordial wisdom, that knowing, right? The universe seems to know what it's doing. It's chaos, but it's replicable. It does spirals for a reason. There's spirals all over the universe, solar systems. There's spirals. Things go around in circles. We work in circles. We work in cycles. And a nice aspect of looking at the world in that way that yogic studies has is in the idea of the 9 emotions. And I think that's a nice segue in terms of understanding love as being one of those emotions, and then segue a nice bridge between working body and working mind and consciousness, which you're going to do for the next several days. And so when we're looking at our emotional body, in yogic philosophies and in sciences, it looks at it as having these 9 significant emotions. And those are love and beauty, okay, laughter, sorrow, anger, heroism or courage, and then terror, fear. And then there's disgust, surprise or wonder, and peace or tranquility. And what's interesting is in being a practitioner and doing psychosocial assessments, so having a certification in understanding and debriefing those, it's very similar when we look at the overlapping 7 key motivators of people. And those are things like return on investment and beauty, or not even beauty, but aesthetics in general. And there's a little bit of variety on that within that. Peace and harmony. You know, this is very, very tied in our main motivators. We do things by emotions. And love is a very, very powerful one. In fact, in yoga, we think of this as the container of the others. And in healthcare, you know, the care aspect. You know, I work a lot with trying to bridge the yoga into mainstream medicine, but really what it is the care. The reason I went over to practicing yoga therapy as one of my main modalities in physical therapy and now an integrative work through mind, body, and soul coaching and support, whether it be personal or business, because it's the same thing. It's about the love, right? If I'm talking to a woman about her brand and her healthcare brand or whatever, she went into that with a story. You know, there's a love there, there's a passion there, there's a joy, there's a pain. There's usually a pain she's working through. And that becomes her story. And love, right? We're all playing a love story. And so, what story do we have? What love story are we playing with ourselves? You know, what are the words? What's the dialogue going on between in that intimacy between us, the person that's living this world out here, and the us that's inside? You know, is it a domestic violence situation? Are we completely emotionally abusing the self? Or is, you know, that version of what we're seeing in the mirror? And so if we look at these, you know, these 9 emotions, or navarasa, that we call it, that yoga of that, the union of that. That doesn't mean that, what's the poses of these? No. That's not what, that is such a little piece, those movements. But the unification, the study of life, which is what yoga is. And we look at those emotions. Let's look at that idea of love and it being tied into beauty. And I don't mean, you know, the just the aesthetics, the visuals that we have, but really, you know, you ever see somebody or somebody, you know, doing something just beautiful, right? By their actions of kindness or compassion, and that having a quality of what? Of love, beauty in that sense. And so when we look in a mirror and we don't like our body, some of the things, you know, if you haven't seen, I've spoken about, is, you know, liver love and, you know, detoxification. That deals with what we're putting in our mouth. That deals with what we're putting on our skin. That deals with how we're going to the bathroom, if we're even taking time, you know, if the foods that we're eating are not allowing us to do those things, if the nourishment around us, the people around us, you know, talking about just taste, right? If we're dulling our taste buds and losing some of that enjoyment from pure taking care of love of our food, planting our food, harvesting our food, cooking our food, right? We've lost some of this. We've lost some of the love in the self-care. In healthcare, you know, it become dollars and cents and you know, diagnostic codes and billing codes and minutes that we're billing, those billing codes. Everything's a bunch of numbers and not necessarily getting those data points to be the human being experience. You know, therapeutic alliance, that terminology, therapeutic alliance is that what? That beauty, that love, those emotions, the other, you know, 8 emotions within that container of that beautiful communication, that feeling that other person's energy in the room. So how are we doing that? That's really what conscious love is. It's so much more than touch and taste and taking care of body parts and, you know, quieting our mind. It's allowing us to function in the world in our greatest energy and in that greatest potential we have, not only to be love, but to, or be loved, but to actually be love in this world. So I will leave you today, day 8, with that bridging transition of conscious love being love.